We are making cinnamon walnut pumpkin cookies.
Hi members, it's Barbara Mangini from Godmother's Kitchen. Today we are making a real treat. Big plump pumpkin cookies filled with cinnamon chips and walnuts. So let's get started. I'm going to begin by taking a stick of softened butter and putting it in my mixer bowl. Then I will add to that my sugar, which is a half a cup of brown sugar and a half a cup of white sugar. I'm going to cream this together, and I'll show you the inside of the bowl as we go along. Doesn't have to cream a long time. Okay, now we are ready. And don't worry about measurements because I'm going to put them on with the recipe for you. In here I have 1 egg, and in that egg I have a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm pouring that in here. I'm also adding to that 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree. So these are our wet ingredients right now. And we're just going to mix those gently. In fact, if I wanted to, I could go to just doing this by hand right now, but it's easier this way. Okay, I'm going to mix that together. And now we are ready to add the dry ingredients to this puree. Okay, there we go. And as soon as I add the dry ingredients, I will show you. In fact, why don't I just mix in these dry ingredients? Okay. You can use a little hand mixer if you want. Now get my mixer out of the way here. Okay. Now I'm mixing this, and I'm going to start, there's my puree, and I'm going to start mixing in. In this bowl, I have 2 cups of flour. I have a teaspoon of pumpkin spice, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to put this in there. These are really pretty simple to make, and I've made them with chocolate chips, but like I've said before, I go through the grocery stores and I look for things that are different, and I saw the cinnamon chips and I thought, oh my goodness, cinnamon and pumpkin. Cinnamon chips and pumpkin cookies, that has to be delicious. What goes better than cinnamon and pumpkin? So right now I just simply, you can see what it's looking like now. I don't want to see any of that white flour, so I'm going to keep mixing. Almost done. There we go. Nothing says fall like pumpkin. Had to go right away. I was one of the first to get a pumpkin latte. I live in the South, and we don't get those cool days. Like when I lived in Pennsylvania, I loved those cool fall days. I called it sweatshirt weather. We don't get that here, but the pumpkin lattes remind me of that. All right, this is what it looks like now that it is fully blended. And I'm going to now simply add a cup of cinnamon chips. You buy this in the chocolate chip section of a grocery store. I happen to find these at Walmart. They seem to have more novelty things for baking. And these are Hershey's brand. Dumping them in. And then I have chopped walnuts, also a cup. And I'm dumping those in. Just gonna mix those up. Never want to mix that with a mixer. They smell so good. Okay, done in no time at all. Let me show you what this looks like. Look at that batter full of cinnamon chips and walnuts. Now what we're going to do is put these on a sheet, which I have right here. I'm going to flour this scoop a little bit and then take the cookies out and put them on the parchment paper. And what's going to happen next is I'm putting them in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. While they're in the refrigerator, you can preset your oven to 375 degrees. My oven gets really hot for some reason, so I'm going to set mine at 350, but the recipe calls for 375 degrees. And by the time our cookies cool in the refrigerator, it will be time to pop them in the oven. And the reason we cool them is they won't melt together. You know how your cookies bake together? If you don't want that to happen, just pre-chill the dough or chill the dough before you put them in the oven. Okay, these are ready to go in the oven, in the refrigerator. Then I'm going to take them out and bake them. And then I'm going to come back and show you what they look like. So for now, ciao. Hi members, it's Barbara and I'm back. All right, I put the cookies in the refrigerator while I preheated the oven to 375. I told you I baked mine at 350 for two reasons. One, my oven gets really hot. And two, I use dark cookie sheets. So I just advise you to keep an eye on these cookies. They bake really fast on the bottom, so just keep checking the bottoms. You want that bottom a nice light brown. So my cookies are finished. Here's what they look like. I have to say this is one of the best pumpkin cookies I have ever tasted. I also put some on a plate just to show you what they would look like, decorate it up a little bit, and of course I have to taste one. So this one is still warm. I love when they're warm. And this is what they look like inside. And I'm going to take a bite. I'm going to make sure I get a cinnamon chip. They're delicious. Between the walnuts and the pumpkin and the cinnamon chip, and this is a soft cookie, they are really good. No frosting necessary, nothing. So today, and again I'll put the recipe on with the video, today we made cinnamon chip walnut pumpkin cookies. So I'll see you again soon. Ciao.